So we're going to start off by looping it over your left thumb so that the fold in the material is against your skin.
It's best to remove the watches?
Yeah. Yeah, any watches or bracelets, anything like that, if you take them off. So yeah, the flap of the material should be closest to the skin.
Oh, right, yeah.
Stick my watch in the car open. I'll take it in a minute.
So this flap needs to be closest to the skin, yeah, and it needs to come over the
So the folds in there so that the velcros are right around at the end.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so you should have over your left thumb, wrapping around the back of your wrist like that, and the fold in the material should be closest to the skin. You got that?
Yeah.
Cool. So every now and then while we're wrapping, just clench your fist so that make sure you're not cutting off any circulation anywhere. We're aiming for a nice tight wrap around the fist, but we want the circulation to continue around the hands. We don't want it slipping off, but we don't want it cutting off circulation. So the first thing we're going to do is wrap around your wrist a couple of times. Two main areas. We want to focus on the wrist for support, and we want to protect the front of the knuckles as well. Once you've gone around the wrist a couple of times, I want you to come from the thumb side of your wrist over the back of your hand and then underneath between your thumb and your forefinger. So it looks like that. Then you're going to wrap over the front of your knuckles a couple of times.
twice, yeah?
Yeah, just a couple of times. I think they might be slightly different lengths, so we might have to adjust as we go.
Like that.
That looks pretty good. Then from there, so the little finger, you're going to come back to the wrist side of the thumb and wrap the thumb tightly once round. Just make sure it doesn't twist on the way around the thumb, and you end up back on the wrist side of the thumb again. From there you're going to go over the back of the hand and you're going to go in between your little finger and your ring finger and bring it back towards the wrist side of the thumb again. Once you've done that, just clench your fist and make sure it's not digging in between the fingers there. You're with me?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, then you're going to go back over the hand again between your ring finger and your middle finger and back to the wrist side of the thumb again, and clench your fist, make sure you're not cutting in between each finger. If any of you are still stuck in a minute, we'll go back through it again. For the benefit of the video, we'll keep going. So now we're going to go between the middle finger and the forefinger and back to the wrist side of the thumb. If you're not sure, Danny, if you just hang on, I'll go through it in a minute. Okay, so you should now end up being back the wrist side of the thumb again, and each finger has been gone through in between. Then we're going to go over the back of the hand, underneath the palm, between the forefinger and the thumb, and you're going to cover up that weaving look and protect the front of the knuckles a little bit more.
Mine was too short.
What's that?
Okay, so once you've done that, then head back to your wrist. So if you're running out of material, what you're going to do is head across the back of the hand, over to your wrist, wrap that a couple of times, and Velcro it on.
So if it's short, we just do this part.
Is it getting Velcros on the
No,
wrist?
it needs to finish up on the wrist.
It's too short.
Yep, so unwrap it.
It's too short.
Is that the end?
This side, small size. No.
Take your hand over.
I missed the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come and sort that one in a minute. So if you're running out, head back to the wrist, wrap over. If you've got more left, we can just do a crisscross over the hand a couple of times and head back to the wrist each time. Well, this one's just one I brought over, so it might be slightly different. And you should end up with something that looks a little bit like that at the end of it. The main two things you want: protection across the front there, So when you clench your fists, make sure you got a bit of padding across the front, and then you've also got some support around your wrist area. Loop it over the thumb so that the fold in the material is closest to your skin, and it comes over the back of the hand to the wrist. And you're going to wrap around the wrist a couple of times.
When I first started working, I had the YouTube.
So we're doing it tight enough to feel support, but never cut off any circulation.
Okay.
Then we're going to go over the back of the hand, underneath the palm, between the thumb and forefinger, and you're going to wrap over the front of your knuckles a couple of times. From there, you're going to head back to the wrist side of the thumb, back and tightly, go once around the thumb. Then we're going to go over the back of the hand and go between your little finger and your ring finger and back to the wrist side of the thumb, and just clench your fist now, make sure you're not digging in the thumb. And then we're going to go over the back of the hand again and go between your ring finger and your middle finger. Back over to the wrist side of the thumb again, you can touch your hands, make sure you're digging in, and then between the middle finger and the forefinger. And then we're going to go over the back of the hand, underneath the palm, between your thumb and your forefinger again. That's it, and then just wrap over. A couple of wraps over the front.
It's tight. It's quite tight, but it's meant to be quite tight.
Okay, and then we can just cross over back to the wrist again. Start wrapping around